receiver spot and he's having himself a night.
Argos stay out third and 2 to 3 yards. Corey Boyd. And Boyd going sideways. Doesn't look like he's going to get it.
And Rod Davis in the middle of it.
Rod Davis came into this game in his last 4, 32 tackles, a sack, a forced fumble, an interception. And this might be his best night of the last 5.
Yeah, I really think it is. And, you know, he didn't play against Toronto the last time these two teams met. Let's watch some outstanding linebacker play. He gets up there, takes on Jeff Keeping, bounces through that, scrapes to the running back, steps up into Corey Boyd, stops him short of the first down, doesn't get any better at linebacker.
Hey, breast cancer.
All us we get everybody.
Shout out to
all us we. All us we, baby. Eskimo.
#1.
All 12 on the field. Let's go.
So turnover on downs for the Argos. The Eskimos
all 12
back onto the field. Remember Rod Davis last year. This game was not played in Toronto last year. It was a Moncton home game for the Argos. Ball popped out. Looked like Darius Bowman might have got on it for Edmonton.
And was that Jerome Messam back in the backfield? I think it was. And again, this now it's a little surprising again, because we just talked about the fact that, you know, it's probably a good time to let him take a little bit of a rest, not get an injury, an unnecessary injury with this game in hand. Bounces the corner and it's just poked out of there, I believe, by Jordan Younger.
Got Kerry Joseph warming up on the Eskimos sidelines. You wonder if, you know, if Davis Reed puts a priority on individual accomplishments, but maybe they got him back in to get the 100-yard game. He did. And now it's a first down for Edmonton. Here's Stamps. They're going to rule incomplete. That in the area of getting close to lateral.
Yeah, it was real close. From our angle live, it looked like it was forward. Risky when Stamps tips it up in the air like that for Edmonton. But let's take a look. The line of scrimmage right at the 35-yard line. And if you stop it right there,
at the 30, and he looked behind the 30.
Just wondering if he's
wow.
Yeah.
Didn't see an Argo go and jump on the ball, but now the Argos are challenging. And apparently an Argo did grab that football.
Let's take a look here one more time. It looks like he does throw right from the 30. Okay, so your line is right through the...
Right down the 30.
And
you could argue where he hits it with the right hand might be the 30-yard line, so...
And Stamps recovered
got the ball anyway, so...
Yeah, Stamps recovered it. So even if it was called a lateral, it'd just be about yardage for Jim Barker. If he wants to challenge this that it was a lateral.
Yes. You missed the call. You fucked up the call, and now we're going ahead. Yeah.
And apparently, Jim Barker just wants to...
Toronto's challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass. We'll review the play.
Apparently, the Argo head coach wants to have the officials admit they made a mistake, which in a 28-point game might be irrelevant.
Well, and even if the officials may have gone to Jim Barker and said, the Eskimos recovered it anyway, but by the time now he's thrown the challenge flag, and now it's a delay of game penalty if he wants to try and pick that challenge flag up and say, oh, if they recovered it, then we're not interested in challenging. So here it is one more time. And when it leaves his hands, let it roll a little bit longer, guys. And stop it there. There is your line, is that 30. I don't know. And again, you know, once Fred Stamps recovered, it's not a chance for the Argonauts to turn this ball over here.
All the Argos can get out of this is a 5-yard loss. Another angle of it.
Yeah, another good look.
Clearly, is what Stamps does reach out. Where Stamps is definitely at the 29.
But he recovers it. So you're talking about 5 yards here, 5-6 yards. And the exact same play last week here against the Calgary Stampeders, and it ended up being overturned and became an Argonaut turnover. And Stamps ends up,
well, I
they
guess you
blow
could
it dead
argue
there.
that it's dead there, which might be, it'd be 11 yards back there.
Yeah, okay. And they've blown it dead there, so basically Evan McCullough there's got to continue with the play though, and hustle to try and recover that just in case. Let the officials sort it out after.
Then it would be a very interesting challenge.
Now, no question.
After review, the pass was a lateral. It was recovered by Edmonton at the 27-yard line, where it will be their ball, second down.
So they get the yardage.
Maybe not as much as they thought. They're going to mark it at the 27. But it will set up second and long.
Back-to-back weeks. Both calls overturned. One was a turnover for Toronto. That one, just a loss of yards for Edmonton.
The play is over.
Second and 18. Ray steps up, cuts it. Lost his footing, but hangs in there to make the catch. And that will be just short of the first down at the 44.
Right, but is it close enough? They're gonna. It looks like the punt team's coming out right away. No decision here for Kavis Reed. I thought it was inside a yard. He might, the way Jerome Messum's going, might just go ahead and try and run it. Might be just more a little bit a long yard, maybe yard and a half.
And Ricky Ray went to the sidelines. I think he may have mentioned that, you know, only a yard away, but Kavis Reed is not going to make any risky moves here with the game well in hand. And Owens awaits. That is it. Guard. Owens. Here we go. And that was a clutch tackle by Clark. Otherwise, Chad Owens is going to run for a while. Not sure if they're still discussing the lateral call. Jim Barker won the skirmish, but losing the war tonight. 31-3 the score. As Corey Boyd tests the inside of that Eskimo defense.
Not been a big, you know, when you look at that Eskimo defense, and again, it's been pretty dominant last 2 weeks. 145 yards through the air against Saskatchewan. With Winnipeg, it was 162. They've created 6 interceptions in the last 2 games, and what was amazing to me is in the 16 possessions the Bombers had last week, they gave up 1 score.
They forced 7 2-and-outs tonight. Second down here. Open man, catch is made. Brandon Rideau has a first down for the Argonauts. That's just the 3rd second down conversion for Toronto tonight, and their first in the second half.
And it's still, the questions will linger with regards to Stephen Giles. And can Stephen Giles, when he threw that corner route to Chad Owens in the first quarter, that shows you kind of his potential. But like Charlie Taff, a former head coach in the CFL, told me years and years ago, said potential gets coaches cut, fired. Got to sometimes realize that potential.
Here's Corey Boyd already over 100. Rod Davis will lead the gang to drag him down across the 50-yard line.
So the the questions still hang there with Stephen Giles is, can he manage a huddle? Can he put a game and drives together consistently enough to make this team a contender? Next year is a big, big year for the Toronto Argonauts. The 100-year anniversary, the Grey Cup back in Toronto. I mean, they want to make a big splash and have a competitive team in the East. And they think that this guy can do it.
And across midfield, Greg Peach will take him down. I got a question for you, something that caught my eye this week. Stephen Giles said, unlike other places he's been, the Argos receivers don't have landmarks. They are just kind of free to get open. Does that surprise you, as opposed to a Paul LaPolice offense where receivers are a little more precise in the demands of the routes?
No question. Yeah, it really does, because it also takes accountability away from those receivers. I'm not sure what that responsibility really was, where they were supposed to get to.
There's some confusion there, but Chad Owens was the release valve, and he picks up some yardage inside the 50.
And that makes it real tough on Giles as well, or any quarterback playing for Toronto, because now that out that's supposed to break at 10 and come back to 8, or break at 12 and come back to 10, could change depending on the player or depending on the down. So now you've got your quarterback almost guessing. So yeah, it does surprise me. It makes it a little more challenging for a quarterback to try and learn what those receivers are trying to do.
And for a guy who wasn't in training camp, might take a little more time. He's taken down here short of the first down as Etienne Legaré combines with Jermaine Reed. Reed, native of Pickering, and there's Legaré, the former Toronto Argonaut, who really looks like he's found a home at defensive tackle in Edmonton.
4 sacks on the year for Legaré, and he's in a bit of a slump now. Gone a couple of games without one, but that 4 sacks a good year for an interior defensive tackle. Those guys get the push, they get the double teams. They don't often get the sacks and the glory stats.
Offense stays on the field. They've turned it over on downs once. Third down again. There's Chad Owens with a catch, and he reaches out, should have the first down. So Owens moves the chains as he makes the catch in front of Weldon Brown. We're getting you.
There's a building block for the Toronto Argonauts right there. Chad Owens, over 3,000, second year in a row, can become an even better receiver next year. Corey Boyd can be a building block. They've got some players they can build around.
There's Boyd again. Julius Williams takes him down. Boyd falls forward to the 35.
But again, and I heard Jim Barker talk about Stephen Giles over the last 4 weeks, and he has said this week that every time I watch him play a game, I see improvements. And yes, there's things away from the numbers and away from the stats, but in the last 4 games, Giles has 7 interceptions and just 2 touchdown passes in that time.
Big to Boyd, rolling out, and Copeland's got it. Down the sideline, Jermaine Copeland gets a little closer to 10,000 with that catch that is marked out at the 13.
And that's a nice throw, and he's got a drive going, but can Stephen Giles do this consistently for the next 3 weeks? And I think if he can, then you could say, let's bring him back as the #1 next year, and about 4 or 5 other quarterbacks that we bring to the stable, and let's just see which horse comes out of the gate after training camp with him as the #1. But he's got to do this more than one series here and there. He is right now 4-13 as a starter in the CFL.
Copeland 14 away from 10,000, and look into the end zone, and Jeff Johnson's there. Touchdown!
This is the type of drive that Jim Barker's talking about. When he says, I see signs. I see when he can make the throw to drop it into a window on a corner road in the end zone. I see the times when he can hit Jermaine Copeland on the sideline on a timing throw to pick up a first down. He can throw from the pocket. We all know he can run. That's his strength. But now my question would still be, can you do it more than one series a game or 1 or 2 series a game? You've got to be able to do it consistently.
Extra point from Prefontaine. That's just the second touchdown surrendered by Edmonton in 3 games.
Michael Shea has his onside kick team on the field.
Stay onside!
Grant Shaw and Prefontaine both around the football, and will be Shaw, and he'll kick it away, and that forces Armstead back to his 15-yard line. And he's going to surrender there. I'm not sure why, but he did. We'll be right back.
Remember, Wendy, we make our hamburgers hot and juicy, and we'll always make them hot and juicy.
Years ago, my dad started a hamburger chain and named it after me. I love that about Dad. Today, we're